Let me ask you something. How many times have you said something and immediately wished you hadn't? How many times did one reaction create days of regret? One message, one reply, one emotional outburst, and suddenly everything changed. Relationships damaged, respect lost, peace destroyed, all because of one reaction. Today, we are not talking about silence. We are talking about power. The power of not reacting. Most people think reaction is strength. Most people believe, if I don't react, I'm weak. If I stay silent, I lose. If I don't reply, they win. That belief is wrong, very wrong. Reaction is not power. Control is power. The world is designed to trigger you. Let's be honest. This world is noisy, opinionated, provoking. People criticize, people insult, people misunderstand. People project their pain, and most of the time, they want one thing from you, a reaction. Because your reaction feeds their ego. Why we react without thinking. Reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. Most people live emotionally. They don't pause. They don't think. They don't choose. They explode. Why? Because reacting feels natural, but natural does not mean wise. Reaction gives others control over you. Here is a hard truth. The moment someone can trigger you, they control you. Your mood, your words, your peace. Ask yourself, why should someone else decide how I feel? That question changes everything. Reaction is usually about ego. Most reactions are not about truth. They are about ego. How dare they talk to me like that? They disrespected me. I must prove something. Ego wants to win. Wisdom wants peace. Strong people don't need to prove anything. Weak people react quickly. Strong people pause. Why? Because strong people know not every comment deserves attention. Not every opinion deserves response. Not every battle deserves energy. Silence is not weakness. Silence is misunderstood. Silence is not fear. Silence is not surrender. Silence is selection. You choose what deserves you. The power of the pause. Between stimulus and response, there is a pause. That pause is everything. In that pause, you decide who you are, what you value, how powerful you become. Most people never pause. They react. Reacting feels good for a moment. It releases emotion. But then comes regret, guilt, embarrassment, consequences. Not reacting feels uncomfortable at first, but later comes peace. Emotional control is the highest form of strength. Anyone can shout, anyone can argue, anyone can react, but very few can stay calm when provoked. That calmness scares people because it cannot be controlled. When you don't react, you observe. And observation gives clarity. You start seeing intentions, patterns, truths. Reaction blinds you. Stillness reveals. Most arguments don't need answers. They need distance. Time exposes truth better than words. Silence often says more than explanation ever could. Why reacting damages relationships. Words spoken in emotion cannot be taken back. One reaction can erase years of trust. Not reacting protects relationships. even when others don't understand it. Not reacting does not mean accepting disrespect. This is important. Not reacting does not mean tolerating abuse, accepting disrespect, staying silent forever. It means you choose when and how to respond, on your terms, not theirs. Responding is a skill. Reacting is a habit. Habits are unconscious. Skills are learned. You were not born reactive. You learned it, which means you can unlearn it. The moment you stop reacting, life shifts. People change behavior when they can't control you. Drama loses power. Manipulation fails. Respect increases because calm is intimidating. A quiet realization. Most of the pain in your life did not come from what happened. It came from how you reacted. Let that sink in. What really happens in your brain when you react? When something triggers you, your brain does not think, it defends. The emotional brain takes control, logic shuts down, awareness disappears. You are no longer choosing, you are reacting on autopilot. That is not intelligence, that is survival mode. Most people live in survival mode even when there is no danger. A comment, a tone, a message, a look. Your brain reacts as if it is under attack. Heart rate increases, breath shortens, emotions spike. But here's the truth. You are not in danger. Your ego feels threatened, not your life. The moment you don't react, your brain rewires. This is powerful. Every time you pause, every time you stay silent, every time you choose calm, your brain learns, I am safe. I don't need to explode. I don't need to prove. Slowly, reactivity weakens. Awareness strengthens. You are literally rewiring your mind. Emotions are like waves. Emotions rise. Emotions peak. Emotions fall. If you react at the peak, you drown. If you wait, the wave passes. Every emotion passes. No emotion lasts forever, but reactions leave scars. Strong people feel everything, but reveal very little. This is a secret of emotionally powerful people. They feel anger. They feel pain. They feel disappointment. But they don't hand their emotions to others. They process privately. Control is not suppression. Control is timing. Not reacting does not mean you don't care. It means you care wisely. You don't waste energy on drama, arguments, misunderstandings, people committed to not understanding you. You protect your peace. Most people want a reaction, not a solution. Have you noticed? Some people don't want clarity. They want chaos. They provoke. They push. They poke. Because your reaction validates them. When you don't react, they feel powerless. Calm makes unstable people uncomfortable. Your calm exposes their chaos. Your silence reflects their noise. That's why calm people are often misunderstood, because they refuse to participate in madness. Not every thought deserves a voice. Just because you feel something does not mean you must express it. Thoughts are temporary. Words are permanent. Wise people filter. Emotional boundaries begin with non-reaction. You teach people how to treat you by what you react to. If you react to disrespect, you invite it. If you stay calm, you set boundaries without speaking. When you stop reacting, you see people clearly. Reaction blinds you. Stillness reveals truth. You notice who wants drama, who wants control, who respects your silence, who only feeds on attention. This clarity is priceless. Not reacting when you are hurt, the hardest part. Let's be honest. Not reacting when you are angry is hard. Not reacting when you are insulted is hard. But not reacting when you are hurt, that takes strength. Because pain wants expression, but wisdom chooses healing. Healing does not happen in the middle of arguments. Healing happens in silence, in reflection, in space. Words spoken in pain often create more pain. Emotional maturity is delayed response. Children react instantly. Adults pause. Mature people understand. Let me calm down first, then I will decide. That pause changes everything. Not reacting in relationships. Relationships don't fail because of problems. They fail because of reactions. Tone, timing, words spoken without control. Sometimes love needs silence, not explanation. You don't need to defend yourself to everyone. People who misunderstand you are not always meant to understand you. Your peace is more important than being right. Silence is a form of self-respect. When you don't react, you say without words, I value myself too much to engage in this. That is confidence. When you master non-reaction, you become unpredictable. People can't manipulate you. People can't trigger you. People can't control you because they don't know what will move you. That uncertainty gives you power. Not reacting saves years of regret. Think about it. How many apologies were forced because of reactions? How many relationships ended because of one emotional moment? Silence could have saved them. Inner peace is built in moments of control. Peace is not luck. Peace is discipline. Every time you don't react, you invest in your future self. A deep realization. You don't need to win every argument. You need to win over yourself, because the strongest victory is inner control. There comes a point in life where you no longer try to control situations. You control yourself. And when you control yourself, nothing outside can shake you. Not words, not opinions, not disrespect, not chaos. That is the highest form of power. When you stop reacting, you rise above the noise. Most people live inside the noise. They argue, they explain, they defend, they prove. But when you stop reacting, you rise above. You start seeing life from a higher level. And from that level, everything looks smaller. You don't need to attend every argument you are invited to. Not every fight deserves your presence. Not every comment deserves your reply. Not every misunderstanding deserves your energy. Your time is limited. Your peace is precious. Spend it wisely. Unreactivity is not passivity. It is authority. Let this sink in. Passive people avoid. Weak people explode. Strong people decide. Not reacting is a decision, a conscious one. And conscious decisions create conscious lives. The moment you become calm, you become dangerous, in a good way. Because calm people cannot be manipulated. They don't rush, they don't panic, they don't lose themselves. They observe, they wait, they choose. That patience is intimidating. Silence creates space, and space creates power. Space between trigger and response, space between emotion and action, space between ego and wisdom. In that space, you grow. People who try to provoke you are teaching you something. They are revealing their insecurities, their emotional wounds, their lack of control. When you don't react, you don't absorb their chaos. You let them keep it. Forgiveness begins with non-reaction. Forgiveness is not words. Forgiveness is when you no longer feel the need to react, when their behavior no longer controls you. That is freedom. Not reacting breaks karmic cycles. Reaction creates cycles. Anger feeds anger. Hurt feeds hurt. Non-reaction ends cycles. It stops pain from traveling further. Emotional freedom is when nothing owns you. Not people, not situations, not past wounds. You feel, but you are not owned by feelings. You experience, but you are not controlled by experience. That is emotional adulthood. When you don't react, you start living from inner authority. You stop asking, what will they think? You start asking, what aligns with my values? That shift changes everything. You become unpredictable, and that is powerful. People expect reactions. They wait for explosions. They assume patterns. When you don't react, you break expectations, and people respect what they can't predict. Not reacting makes you a leader, even without a title. Leaders don't panic. Leaders don't shout. Leaders don't react emotionally. They stay centered when others fall apart. That calm creates trust. Inner peace is built quietly. No applause, no validation, no recognition, just silent strength. And one day, people feel it without you saying a word. A moment of truth. Most of your suffering was never caused by others. It was caused by your reactions to them. Realizing this is painful, but it is also liberating, because now the power is back in your hands. From today, live by this principle. Pause before you speak. Breathe before you respond. Observe before you decide. Let others lose control. You keep yours. The final message. The strongest people are not the loudest. They are the calmest. They don't react. They don't rush. They don't prove. They know, and knowing is enough.